guys, Arya here, and today I'm on my Nightblade, and in this video I'm going to go over my Nightblade healing build. Templars are usually the go-to healers in ESO, but Nightblades do pretty well as far as healing. They have really good mana regen. They have also really good skills that do healing slash DPS, so you're going to be able to do some pretty decent DPS and also keep your raider party alive. So let me go right into my gear setup. For gear, I am running 5 pieces of Kagranak's Hope. The 5 piece on this set is spell damage as well as a decreased time to res your ally. I feel this is really important because when people die, you're going to need to res them, and having that decreased time and being able to get back into either DPSing or healing is really important. So that's why I really like this set. It also has Magicka and Magicka Recovery, which are really good you know, stats for any healer or DPS. Then my next set that I'm running is 2 pieces of the Torag's Pack set, just for the straight up spell damage, and then the Molokina also for spell damage. And then my last set that I run is 3 pieces of the Willpower set. And these 3 pieces, as well as the Molokina, you're going to probably have to farm for. The Kagranak and the Torag's Pack are going to be really easy. They're crafted sets. You can buy the jewelry as well if you want to buy it. I have spell damage on all 3 of my jewelry pieces for just bigger DPS slash bigger heals. And then as far as traits, I run Divines on everything except for my head, which that's just because that's what I got for the drop. Infused isn't bad. If you want to run Infused on more pieces, get a bigger mana pool, you can do that as well. I would try to run Infused on your big pieces, your chest or your legs, and then run Divines on the rest of your pieces. I run an Inferno Staff on my front bar, and then I run a Resto Staff on my back bar. As far as my racial passives, I am a vampire. Right now, I am not really using the vampirism for my heal build. I use it in PvP, and I do use it on my DPS build more so. In the next patch, the Dark Brotherhood patch, they are changing the vampirism so you don't have to have a skill on your bar to get the mana regen. So I think this will be a little bit more beneficial to the heal side of my build coming up in the next patch. As far as Mundus, I run Spell Power. Like I said before, it's going to give you bigger DPS, bigger healing. So I go for that straight up bigger spell damage. And then as far as stats, just taking a look at my stats, you can see that I don't have food on right now, so I can put food on for you. So with food on, my Magicka is right around 42k, which is pretty good mana pool. You're probably not going to run out of mana a whole lot on this build. Spell damage 25, 57. That's going to give you a really good DPS slash heal boost. Magicka Recovery is 1117, which is also really good. So those are kind of like your stats that you're going to want to go for on this build. I have 58 in Magicka, and I put a couple into health. I was running a little bit more into health because I was worried about getting one-shotted. I was worried about being too squishy, but I have found that I can actually put more into Magicka, and being around 20k health is going to be kind of a good number to shoot for. You can go as low as 18, 17 even, if you're really careful and you're a player that really pays attention. but I find around 20k health is usually a pretty good number to shoot for. So next up, I'm going to go over my skills and my passives that I use in this build. So first up, quickly I'm going to go over some of the passives in the Nightblade tree that are going to be beneficial to you. First up, Refreshing Shadows, straight up Magicka recovery by 50%. That's going to be great for your healing. The next one, Magicka Flood in the Siphoning tree, increase your max Magicka by 8%. And then lastly, Soul Siphon is going to increase the effectiveness of your healing by 3% for each siphoning ability slotted. So right now you see I'm at 6%. I've got a couple of my DPS bar here. So this is a straight up heal buff, so this is going to be great for a heal build. So my first bar here is going to be my damage dealing bar. My first skill here, Funnel Health. Funnel Health is going to do good amount of damage. It got a little bit of a nerf on the heal side the last patch. It only heals one other ally instead of two, but it's still going to do double duty as far as damage / healing. Next skill here, Structured Entropy. I don't necessarily run this for the damage. It does a good amount of damage, but I do run this for the Major Sorcery buff. The Major Sorcery buff is going to be great for your damage, but it also is going to be good for healing because more spell damage is going to give you bigger heals. So having this up as much as you can is important. Next skill here, Sap Essence. This is a really great AoE. Spamming this just by itself on a large group of NPCs, I've hit 40k or more on this, just spamming this one skill, so it does really great AoE. It also does healing, so it also is another one of those spells that does double duty for you. It's going to be doing healing and damage. The next slot here, this is kind of my flex spot. If you want to run more of a DPS build, then run Merciless Resolve. Merciless Resolve is going to give you an increase in damage. It's also going to give you the Spectral Bow that procs after 4 heavy or light attacks, so that's a good kind of burst damage ability. A good kind of good trick to know for this ability, if you pop Structured Entropy before hitting your Spectral Bow, it's going to give you a bigger bow damage. So if you go into the Mages Guild, the last passive in the Mages Guild, when you cast a Mages Guild ability, it's going to give you Empower, which is going to increase the damage of your next attack by 20%. So it's going to give you a 20% damage bonus to your Spectral Bow if you pop this first. So that's a good trick to know for this skill. The other skill that I will run here is going to be Siphoning Attacks. Siphoning Attacks, if you're in a group where you're kind of going to be more strained on mana, if you're doing a lot more healing, I will run Siphoning Attacks because it's going to give you Magicka back when you pop this. So when you get around 50%, I will usually pop this and I'm able to recover my Magicka back pretty quickly with this on. The other skill that I run here is in the Undaunted tree, the Necrotic Orbs. This is going to be if you're running in a group with other mana users. They can pop these bubbles and get Magicka back, so they're going to really like you if you run these. You know, any Magicka user is going to like this skill a lot. So my last skill here on this bar, Inner Light, just for the straight up Magicka increase as well as the Spell Critical. Spell Critical, like spell damage, is going to give you you know, more critical heals, so it's going to buff your healing as well as your damage. And then my last slot, my ultimate on this bar, I usually run Ice Comet for the damage. Some other skills that you can run here, I do sometimes run Veil. Veil is great mitigation, so you can run that there as well. You can also run Barrier, which is going to be a really good shield. So if you're in it, like I've said before, if you're in a group where you need less damage, then you might not want to run the Meteor, and you might want to go for either the Barrier or the Veil to give you a little bit more mitigation to keep people alive better. My Resto Staff bar here for skills. My first skill hero, Healing Springs. Healing Springs, great AoE heal ability. It's going to give you Magicka restored to you each ally hit. So it's going to give you Magicka back, so it's not a huge strain at your Magicka pools, which is great. So it's not so good for fights where people are spread out. So it's more for if you have a point where people are grouped up and you're able to spam this on them. It's really great for that. Next one here, Mutagen. I run Mutagen instead of the Rapid, the one that gives you more ticks of the healing. Mainly for you get, if someone goes below 20% health, they are going to, instead of getting the tick, they're going to get the full tick as like a burst heal. So unlike Templars that have Breath of Life, Nightblades do not have a burst type heal. So Mutagen kind of falls into my burst healing. So that's why I run that instead of the more tick one. I also run Healing Ward, also to give me, this is kind of, if someone's going down really fast, or if someone's really low health, I will pop my Healing Ward, and that will usually keep them alive, because it's a shield as well as a heal. So it's going to heal them when it goes on, it's going to give them a shield, so it's going to mitigate the damage, and then it's also going to heal them when it expires. So it's basically going to keep them alive. On this bar, again, this spot I use for kind of my flex spot. Most of the time I run Refreshing Path. Refreshing Path is it's going to give you a heal and damage. It also gives you, anyone that goes in it is going to give you Major Expedition, so having a little extra movement speed is nice as well. I also run this on this bar, like I said before, in the Shadow passives. It's going to give me my mana recovery, so that's why I run that here. So on this bar I'm getting a little bit more mana recovery. If you want, you could run Veil or something on this bar instead, and run something else here. The other skill I do sometimes run is going to be Combat Prayer. Combat Prayer is just a really good buff to your party's damage, so it's going to give your party a damage buff. So that's also a good one to slot there if you want to buff your party. And then last skill here, Inner Light, same as the front bar. And then my ultimate here, Soul Siphon. Soul Siphon is the Nightblade version of an ultimate heal. This is going to do a really big heal. As you can see here in the tooltip, it's almost 10k healing initially, and then it's additional 29, almost 30k heal over 3.5 seconds. And then it's also going to give the people Major Vitality, which is going to increase the healing received. So basically you pop this and your party isn't going to die. It's I always try to have this on one of my bars, either my Resto bar or my Destruction Staff bar. So it's a really good ultimate there. So those are my skills. So next up, I'm gonna really quickly go over my champion points. At this time, my champion points are set up more for a DPS build because I have been DPSing more. So I'm gonna show you kind of where you should push your points. But as far as the warrior and the thief trees are kind of going to be where wherever you're weakest, you're going to want to buff. You know, obviously you're going to want to buff stuff like spell resist is going to, you know, decrease, you know, the amount of damage you take from spells. That's always a good one to have. I always put points into Hardy and Elemental Defender. That's going to cover your Poison, Disease, Physical on Hardy, and then Elemental Defender is going to cover your Fire, your Shock, your Frost, and your Magic damage. So these kind of are going to mitigate a lot of your damage. I do also have some in Thick Skin, which is going to reduce the damage from dots. So it's good to put some points into there. As far as the Thief Tree, obviously the Magician reduced magic cost of spells, and then the Alchemist is going to increase your magic recovery. So those are the two that you're going to really want to put, you know, all your points into in this tree. You can put some in health recovery. If you're going to be doing a lot of PvP, you might want to put some into health recovery, and you also may want to put some into Mooncap as well if you're doing PvP, because you're going to be doing a lot more dodge rolling and blocking in PvP. The kind of the important tree for a heal or a spell damage build is going to be the Mage tree. And like I said, I am running more of a DPS build right now, so I do have a lot of points into Elemental Expert. I don't have any in Blessed. If you are running strictly heals on your Nightblade, I would really recommend putting some points into Blessed. It's going to increase the effectiveness of your healing, so it's going to make you a more effective healer. And then I also would encourage you to put more points into Elfborn. It's going to increase the damage of your critical, healing, and spell damage as well. So I would put some points into there instead of Elemental Expert. I also have some points into Spell Erosion, which is going to help you on the DPS side of the build, not so much so on the heal side. The Staff Expert is good to put a couple points into. I wouldn't, if you don't have a lot of points, don't put them in here to start out. As you get more points in your champion tree, I would invest some points into this. It's going to just increase the damage of your light and heavy attacks, so it's going to give you a little bit extra damage to those attacks. And then in the Ritual tree, I have 25 points in Thaumaturge. It's just going to increase the effectiveness of your dots. Nightblades have a lot of dot damage, so it's good to have some points into this because it's going to make those dots tick harder. So that's kind of briefly where I would put my points into in the champion points. So that is the build, guys, and I want to thank you guys for watching the video, and hopefully I will see a lot more Nightblade healers out in Tamriel. Bye, guys.